Evening. Welcome to the program. Made it all the way Thursday, back in our Panama City office, where I look out over the morning and see this beautiful bay, Sanders Bay, back from Ocala, where we've been for the last 28 days. Thanks again to all our support people there. We're back on the program tonight and in a very good mood. A very good mood. And we have reason to be. They say you can choose your attitude and your own happiness. So I'm choosing tonight. I had a little bit of epiphany I'm going to share with you. And we'll have the preacher here. Ben will be along to deliver a sermon. And all good tonight on a Thursday night. Buddy Martin Show, Orange and Blue Bloods night. You won't want to miss this. Stay tuned and tell your friends and neighbors. The Buddy Martin Show is now officially on the air.
Yes, it's time again for Buddy Martin. Call him up and tell him what you're thinking. But be kind because he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Hey, what if the boy calls you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye.
You ready, champ?
I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
I hope you're happy as I am tonight. It's a very happy occasion. I read somewhere on the last few years, you can choose your attitude, and I'm going to try to choose mine. I've had a bit of an epiphany about my attitude. And yes, it has to do with the Gators, and it has to do with expectations versus learning to really embrace something. And I've got a plan. I got a thought. I want to share it with you. I shared it late last night with David Moulton, and lo and behold, I think we've come up with something. For those of us who don't live and die if the Gators don't win a championship, there's got to be more room than that. There's got to be room for people like me, like Ben Troop. And I'm extremely happy tonight, number one, to have Ben on. Secondly, to make an announcement. Let's go right to the Orange and Blue Blood room where Pastor Ben reigns supreme and sovereign, as he always does. And tonight, we'll be able to hear him and see him. What's up, my man?
What's going on, buddy? I want to hear about this. I want to hear about this new perspective. I'm all ears, like I'm pretty sure all the listeners are.
Yeah. I really have given a lot of thought. You know me. I mean, I've wrestled with this for quite some time. And I'm not going to give it all away right here. I want to say, though, that I've come up with something for me that works. And it probably works for you, although you don't have a problem with it. You out and out just flat out state, this is what I want the Gators to do, and I'm 100% behind them. For those of us who are kind of caught in the middle, trying to be journalists, some fans, but reasonable, it's difficult to go back and forth like a like one of those, what do you call them? Those things that you go back and forth like that with those steel balls, and maintain some sanity. So I've got something for myself. But first, man, before we get there, I got something really, really special to announce tonight, and you're a part of it.
Okay.
And you know how hard we have worked on this program to get it to where it is now. Which, by the way, we still got a ways to go. We're not saying that we've made it to the top of the mountain, but Ben, you've been a part of it for a long time, a large part of it, and we've always tried to get there. And there's a lot of good people who've done a lot of good things, on this group of people. What I love about this group is that we're trying to do what's right and best at all times, not necessarily self-serving, and sometimes costly and sometimes out of our own pocket. But we have an ideal in mind and we all share that particular ideal. And you among them. Let me just show you this. How we doing so far in our new show? Actually, it's the same show. We have brought in SEC Sidelines, but it's the Buddy Martin Show, which has been on the air now for, I think, 5 years. And we've grubbed for every single viewer we could get. And tonight I received this notification about it.
Very nice. Very nice.
Pretty happy about that. Don't mind if I do.
I will say this. What makes this, man, the SEC Sideline Sports Network for Region 500. What makes this special for those who don't know? If you know Buddy Martin, if you know Brendan, if you know Rob Brown, if you know myself, friends, and Lauren, and whomever that had something to do with this, we are not conventional people. We don't mind taking advice. We don't mind, trying to, I say, but sometimes they say a shortcut is an even longer road. So, buddy, congratulations, because this is 500,000 views and counting. And I think the thing about it is, buddy, it proves that before you listen to anybody else, man, trust your own instincts. Trust your own perspective. Trust your own way of going. Because people seem to think that what we want to do out of our own mind is not good enough or won't work. Well, says who? I guarantee you. When Buddy Martin was first approached about, the Sideline Sports Network and, taking it to YouTube, it's like, all right, because you got a proven product in Gator Bay. But it shows, man, it's working. Not just that it works. It is working currently as I speak. And buddy, congratulations. This is 500,000. And they say when you get a million, they send you a plaque. So next up, they're going to be sending you a plaque. And it just goes to show when you're not chasing views, you get viewership. When you're not chasing likes, you get likes. It's like while we are in the viewership likes business, I like the fact that we can just be our authentic selves and still be able to go out there and produce an incredible product. So shout out to you, buddy, and Brendan and Rob and the SEC Sideline Sports Network for reaching 500,000 views, achieved May 9th, 2024. This time next year, that's going to be 2 million. If you're at 500,000 now before the season start, that's going to be well into the millions after the season is over. So I congratulations, buddy, because like I said, when you are part of something bigger than yourself, it's much easier to go out there and just be your authentic self. So I love being a part of the SEC Sideline Sports Radio Network. Sports Network, and I also just enjoy being on the Buddy Martin Show. Orange Blue Blood. Thursdays. I know we used to do it on Sundays, but hey, man, until they kick us off, we will be right here every Thursday. Buddy got other shows throughout the week. And hey, man, congratulations, man. Onward and upward from here.
Well, thank you, man. And just to be clear on this started out as the Buddy Martin Show and still is the Buddy Martin Show. Well, we've embraced the network now with Rob, and the show is flying the flag for the network. But all those nights and days we put in before you and France, and particularly Brendan, who had a vision. Look, you were part of talk radio. You know what it was like back in that time when the shows started folding right and left, and radio stations started going the way of the dodo bird, and what's happened. And some of us had to pull the plug on radio shows, and it was Brendan who talked me into it. Said, "Dad, we're already streaming. We need to just pull the plug on the radio and go on a stream." I said, "No. So Dad, it's the future. Radios are going to be history tomorrow." And sure enough, since that time, look what's happened. People don't listen to the radio like they used to. Everything they do is like right here or on the screen. And it's funny. I used this story a couple of times the last couple of days. Some of us are not as gifted as others about catching on to modern technology. And my dear friend Carswell, I just love him to death. He's doing good for a man of his age. But the bottom line is he's also, hold on a second, I'll get my wife's phone. All right, I have to take this call, Ben, even though I'm on the air because the sheriff is calling me. And when the sheriff calls, you have to answer, okay? And that'd be right.
And
The sheriff.
this what you love about. Let me see. Is that Mama Martin right there?
Nah, it's
That's
Mama Martin behind me, but she's it's for her. It's her son, Tommy, and he's calling about Mother's Day, I believe. Tommy, are you right? Are you not?
Yes, sir.
All right, now, Tommy, this is you, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, I know you've been a very busy guy. You've been a really busy guy. He's been out campaigning, Ben. He's just absolutely killing it out there. I mean, he is killing it on the trail. He's going to be the next sheriff. He can be the next sheriff for an attorney if he wanted to be, but he's running a hard campaign. And by the way, congratulations in order. I might as well go ahead and tell you now. Can I say it, Tommy? You're at your new degree?
Sure.
All right. He has got a new degree from University of Virginia while he was campaigning and serving as sheriff. Okay. How's that for multitasking? And he is now he's in I'm not going to say what team he roots for, but that's okay. We have a mixed family here around here. But he's now a Virginia Cavalier for me from now on. That's what he
okay.
is.
Ain't
Yeah,
nothing
right.
wrong with it.
Yeah.
Hey, well, congratulations, sir. Congratulations on getting. Listen, getting degrees while also protecting and serving the people of that county. So, hey, look, if I ever get pulled over by you, I'm gonna use the Buddy Martin. Listen, I am Buddy Martin's grandson.
Don't do that. He'll put you under the jail if you use my name.
And I got a new stepdaddy right now on the
Congratulations, Sheriff. Here's your lovely mother who talked to you about her plans, whatever they may be. Here you are, Dawn. Okay. Come on down. We're on the air live. We have to do it today while we're young. There we go. All right. Thank you very much. Tommy's on the phone.
How you doing?
And so,
all right.
Introduce me to your friend here.
This is Ben. This is Dawn, and your son's waiting on the line.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I can't complain. Listen, whenever I get a chance to be in the presence of the one who walks beside Buddy Martin, people say, "Why is Buddy walking around with his chest out and his?" I say, "Cause he got his lady. When you get your lady, you'll feel the Buddy Martin." Listen. People say, "Man, what is Buddy Martin to you?" I said, "Listen, Buddy Martin got the motion in the ocean. He got the love potion. He's Buddy Martin."
Oh my goodness! You're saying this to her son. You know that, don't you? And by the way, I will say this: I did luck out. Okay, so Ben,
of course, that's how it's supposed to be. People always say, "Oh,
Yeah.
like if they see me out with my lady, they
Yeah.
be looking at me." I say, "Look, I don't got good credit, right? I'm not charismatic, and she's already agreed to the term, so she's not
There
going."
you go. All right, go talk to your son, honey.
If I had known he was going to do this to me, I wouldn't have put on lipstick. But see, I
Oh, it's
didn't do
okay.
Honey, I
Listen,
didn't do it to you. Your phone rang. I answered. It's your son. I'm playing secretary for you as usual.
Oh.
The sheriff is waiting for you to talk to him.
Hey, son.
Okay, thank you. Back to talk radio and sports here. All right. Little family interruption. That's okay.
That's
Yeah.
what,
So
but brother, you just did it. When people ask once again, what makes good radio? Because when I first got into radio, I thought radio was bringing the analytics, breaking down the game. That's a part of it. That's a part of it. People want to know that you human, that you everyday people. That even if I do got the analytics and the Gator bait and the articles, I can still be normal. Like they can say, "Wait a minute, did Buddy Martin got a live call? His son, his wife's son, put her on the phone, brother." To me, that's what it took me almost 6 months to learn in radio is they want to know, "Hey man, are you just every day?" Yeah. Like I don't want you to think that because buddy, we've come across the people that they in radio or they in journalism and they think they here and everybody's down there, and you be like, "Nah, it's not." It's not that we take pride in what we do. We enjoy what we do. But if we don't make time for just life in the process of what we're doing, man, it's gonna turn into a real job, and you're gonna burn out. So I make it on sports media and radio and podcasting because I get to be myself. If you want to talk, offensive schemes and matchups, I can do that. But if you want to just have fun and let life flow, I do that better. That's what I'm better at. So I appreciate you letting everybody know that it's okay to be you all the time. The people that can't be me all the yeah, you can. And you can make a living at it too. So
Well, Ben, we've had a great relationship and we've had a lot of great talks, honest talks. And people still don't understand it. Why you go to when you hang out at your local bar, you sit there, you open up a picture of mine, and someone says, "Who is that?" And you say, "That's my grandfather."
that's right. He all in my business. I mean, he all in
Yeah,
my
yeah,
face.
yeah.
I
So
said,
wait a minute. And they look at
can a
you
man
and
just
look at me and think, "Wait a minute, these two guys look different to me. I don't understand, right?"
I
And you
said all I
love,
said was all I said, buddy, was what you trying to say? What you trying to say? I only like my grandfather? And then he was like, no. It was like I said, if I ever run across the guy again, it was just so funny because he was so adamant, man. And I just told him, I said, look, man, I said, all family members ain't coming from your bloodline, man. You get family members along the way. Them gonna be some of the best ones. The ones you meet along the way that pull something out of you you didn't even know was in you, see something in you that you didn't see in yourself. Those are the ones because family members that you come from, you bonded to them, whether you want to be or not. They built in. But no, it's every time I see Laura Rutledge, I can only imagine what you said to her when she was interning to tell her, hey man, I see something in you, and like I said, you got friends and Lauren and
well, you
I
know
saw
what? Honestly, I got to tell you, I didn't say much. Brendan Martin was the one who did. He found her. She was interning for Steve Russell, and she came to practice, and he was shooting video, and he showed her what he was doing. And they said, they started doing recruiting, and she became a recruiting maven. And we started doing live shows. We started doing shows on Cox cable TV. It was primarily Brendan and a couple other guys and Laura, and she became a superstar. And what we said to her was, you know what? We think you can be as big as anybody from Florida, including Andrews. And she said, and she, I don't think she believed it, but we know what happened there, and she is now one of the biggest stars at ESPN. So, all right, so Ben, let's get back to our little program. A lot of people here on our own line tonight. I wanted to talk to you where I'm going to share with you my sort of epiphany here a little bit about what do you do when you want to be a fan of the Gators, but you have to be objective at the same time. It's a conflict there. You're in the media, you're a
yep,
former player, you're loyal, but at some time you have to say, wait a minute, what I see is not what I like. I don't like what I see, and I have some problems with that. I've been called sunshine pumper, and I've been called critic. Mr. Negative, whatever. I get it. That's okay. All my life I've had that back and forth. But I've come upon something I want to share with you that I think might be a little different. I've wrestled with this for a long time. My friend David Moulton, who's on the show with Allie on Wednesday nights, Allie P. Wilbur, it's called Sweet and Sour. The listeners named it Sweet and Sour. You can guess who's who. Okay. So Allie's sweet. Now, sometimes she can be tough, and David is so called sour. Uh, I look at that as a Chinese menu item, but I look at it if you had sweet and sour soup, you ever had that?
I have.
I love it, and it has a little different flavor to it. To me, I can have a piece of me held back to say, I'm going to choose how I feel about this, okay? Because it's not just going out and saying, well, they got a W. There's more to it than that, Ben.
Yeah.
You're driven by passion, okay? Um, and I love that. I don't say all the old school thinking is correct. I do think, however, we have to be able to let's look at college football a different way. Now,
Yeah.
Ben, we've been doing this a while, and we are constantly barraged by people who want to be critical or whatever, or say we're sunshine pumpers or whatever. That's okay. We choose to have a positive attitude, right? We can choose that. When you wake up in the morning, your feet hit the floor, you say your prayers, whatever, you're going to choose your pathway, aren't you, that day? Try, at
Yeah.
least that's what you set out. Now, some days don't work out, but you choose to start out that way. What's the reason that we should go into this season with a negative attitude? Why should we start? You didn't have the world's greatest start up there in Gainesville, but you chose to hang in there and fight through it. And you had a fantastic senior year, played in the league for 5 years, and you chose a certain attitude, and now you choose. For me, I thought the other day, I had an epiphany. I don't have to go into this season thinking about woe is me, this team's going to get his brains beat out, whatever. I can say, when I go to the theater, or I go to the movie or a concert or whatever, I don't have to have a foregone conclusion of how things are going to be. You go to experience something, and I experience college football like others experience the arts. Okay, they go to a concert, or they go to a live concert. They go to a movie. They go to a play, whatever, and they don't know what they're going to get. But some nights are just special,
Yeah.
right? I wrote down some of mine. I'll share with you earlier. What nights are special? When you go to the ballpark, sometimes you run into a special situation, a special night, a special game. You had them where you didn't see that coming. Wow, what a game! What a night! How special was that? And you can never recreate that, Ben. You can't
No.
say, I'll do it tomorrow night. It just happens at a certain time. So why not have that particular outlook, right?
Yeah.
Um, Maybe we could just say, you know what? Let's go to the ball yard and see what happens. I mean, look, when Tim Tebow couldn't make that fourth down and they got beat by Ole Miss, I know people said, there goes the national championship.
Oh
My
yeah.
colleague,
My mom
yeah,
and my
yeah,
sister
yeah.
cried about that situation, but
It was
but buddy, you
over. It was
buddy,
over.
you right. But buddy, you just said something that I think encapsulated what a lot of fans do. You said, man, I could catch a moment. I could go to this game today, and listen, it's gonna be a winner and a loser. Like we get that part. We get that part. But I can go. I can go to a game. I've never heard it quite like you just said it. Like, listen, if you don't like art, you don't know why these people standing in there staring at this picture. Like, man, what are they looking
Yeah.
at? Right?
Well,
Because,
yeah.
because 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 that's not what you into. If you don't like the opera, that lady's singing a little bit too loud for me. Like, because you
Yeah.
don't like it. But
Yeah.
if you love football, you are looking at it. Because like you say, hey man, I can't tell you how many Gator games I've seen, but I can tell you the moments. There were some moments. Because when you think about Florida, which is different, most teams, not all, but most, they ain't never seen a team win it all. And they show up every week. They ain't never seen them win their conference. They ain't never seen them do anything. But to them, if you ask them, why do you watch Team X? They gonna start giving you these memories. Oh my God. So for me, it's like that too, buddy. It's like, look, when I first got in the media, they told me, hey Ben, you can't pick Florida to win every week. What do you mean? Because you're telling us where your heart is. I want your analytics. We listen, we know who you want to win. Like we know that part. But what do your eyes tell you? So then I said, okay. They said because you can't be a journalist or not journalist, I mean an analyst that's one-sided. You just so what starts happening is I start giving them moments. I start saying, like they'll say, what's the greatest moment in Florida history? And people always ask, it depends on what era you watched. What era are you talking about? Because Jarvis Moss. Jarvis Moss got to Florida when I was there. Even though I'm older than Jarvis Moss, Jarvis Moss will always be known for the block against South Carolina. Not because it was the block. It's because Steve Spurrier is on the other sideline. That makes it even more significant, right?
And he was so defeated and beat up and washed up that Charlie Strong had to lift him up. He could hardly go. And he said, Moss, are you sure you can go? Yeah, I got to go in there. The story about how he got on that field, he was going to be on that field. And those are the great stories that we live for right there, that kind of thing. And not to interrupt you, but those moments are so special that it almost overrides who won the game. It isn't
Yeah.
always who
Yeah.
wins the game. It's the drama that unfolds, the character of people that comes out there, and you say, "Man, that was special." I mean, look, hey Ben, uh, people say it's the hardest schedule ever. I've seen some years when every schedule was hard, where the schedule was so hard you hope you win 5 games. Period. And
Yeah.
that was their play 10. So this is hard, but they got a good team. They got good players. So it's not as
Of course,
hard
buddy.
as it was for a team in the 50s with playing for Bob Woodruff to go out and play, games. So, I mean, yeah, it's hard. It's all relevant. Yeah, okay. The last 5 games are like the Bataan Death March. I get it. I know about that.
Yeah.
I know about
Yeah.
all the teams in right, and it's great. But what if they knock one or two of those off, Ben? What if they knock one or two of those off?
I mean, what it is, buddy. Like I say, I tell people all the time. Look, my senior year was my best year individually, but it was my favorite year as a player because of what happened. I mean, after the first 3 games, we 6-6. So people go, well, who was our next five? Our next five was LSU on the road. Right, we had LSU on the road. We had Arkansas on the road. We had Vanderbilt at home. We had Georgia and Jacksonville, right, and then we had South Carolina on the road. After that, we was 8-3. We beat the next 5, not because we were this super duper talented squad. Adversity brings a team together more than like victories ever will. Because what happened was we were playing somewhat of individual style football. We was playing for the offense, playing for the offense, defense was playing for the defense, and all of a sudden, hey man, we ain't nobody else coming. So we either, we will either do this collectively or we will die as individuals. Period. So for us, buddy, it's like you said. People go, hey man, ain't nobody gonna remember every single play you played. But if you give them a memory, boy, they gonna remember you forever. If you give them, because no matter what, buddy, no matter how long you've been choosing the Gators, you've been choosing them every year. Listen, everybody got opportunities to go another place, right? You don't just because you went to Florida, root for Florida. I don't got to stay over here. I could go root for this team.
Yeah.
But there's something about Florida that made you keep coming back. Hey man, see you next. This the best way to look into it. Mike Norvell, not to give him, no, I'm sorry, Willie Taggart, his first and only year at Florida State. I was there for his first game against Virginia Tech, right? Just replaced Jimbo. He's his first game. Virginia Tech waxed Florida State. Me and BJ was at the game, buddy, trying to be there for his first game. They're getting beat. We're walking out of the game. A Florida State fan says, man, the Seminoles, they stink. I can't stand them. I hate them. And then you know what the guy next to him said? See you next week, though. See you next week. That's fans. We can say whatever we want to say, but as long as we keep showing up, because like you say, buddy, Florida is one of those teams that, and this is what I was told. They said at Florida, we can actually meet expectations. Most people, they just have them. Most teams, they got them. They can't meet them because they've never met them. But they keep coming back to say, this could be the year, this could be the year. Florida, Coach Spurrier wrote that letter to his players, man, after 95. Look what they did in 96, right? They came right back national championships. You lose to Nebraska, right, in embarrassing fashion. You come right back there in 96. You beat your rival who beat you in the regular season, number one versus number 2, to see them in New Orleans. So for me, you're right, buddy. It is the moments and the memories. It really, really is because at a place like Florida, I would say this. If somebody asks Buddy Martin, man, why do you love Florida? You can't answer them in a sentence. Why do I love Florida? Oh, my God. How much time do I have? You're going to start, and when you get to talking memories, they come back and they come back. Because once a fan understands, boy, you a part of this family or you're not. You either want to be a part of this thing or you don't. And guess what? The time it takes you to walk away, somebody's already sitting in your seat. Somebody was standing up because it's standing room only. You got up. They waited to see if you was going to concession. They walked out the stadium. They're going to sit down in your seat because I'm telling you, Florida is a special place because there's nothing we haven't done. Think about that. There's nothing Florida hasn't done in football, and Steve Spurrier is the reason why former players want to come back and coach there. He started that.
Yeah.
Only difference, but it's the thing though. He was a Heisman, 3rd overall pick, coached the Heisman, won the first national championship, all these different things. Listen, Coach Frost tried to go back to Nebraska. It ain't working so well. Venables, he went back to Oklahoma. It ain't working so well. Now Kirby, he's doing okay at Georgia. But you know what he hasn't done? Where's the Heisman Trophy winner? Because it ain't that easy. So I'm with you, buddy. I think that when you talk about Florida, the reason why yes, I'm biased. You know, I wasn't a Florida fan growing up. I wasn't a Georgia fan either. But I've been a Florida fan since 2000. This is 24 years in the making. And people say, Ben, why do you show up? Because they them. Like Florida, they are them boys for real. Because look, UCF have 2 outlier years. They beat LSU in the bowl game. They go by Joe Burrow. They go undefeated. They win a fake national championship. Miami has never won the ACC. I'm gonna say that again. The Hurricanes have never
That's amazing,
won
isn't
the
it?
ACC.
That is amazing.
So for all these people that got something to say, listen, Florida State just got shown last year. Your brand ain't as big as you thought. You went undefeated in the regular season, didn't make the college football playoff. So for me, Florida is what it says it is. It is the university of. It is the flagship university in the great state of Florida. And for me, buddy, when you talk about football, if Dallas Baker, who coaches, I think he coaches at Baylor now.
Yeah.
They showed a video of him. He was talking about, hey fellas, it'll never be nothing like it. They got him on the practice field, looking out at the players.
Yeah.
Listen, saying, and to me, buddy, that's what it's about. I was blessed enough to be a person that represented the orange and blue on the field. I know how privileged and blessed I am because when I tell people, hey man, when you get to wear the orange and blue in Gainesville, I don't care what no one says. Go talk to a bunch of players that went to Miami and Florida State. You know what they're going to all say? I was going to go to Florida. I was going to go to and something kept them from coming, which is fine. Because when people get to ask me, Ben, why are you so adamant about Florida? Because I ain't telling no lies. I'm not fabricating anything. I'm not sensationalizing anything. I'm just telling you this is what has happened. And for me, I think this is what we look at. Because, buddy, we want to see it again, right? Most of these teams ain't got no tradition for real. What tradition? Tennessee calls themselves the everything school. Based off of what?
Yeah.
Like, based off of what? Y'all ain't wanted in everything. So for me, I'm like you, buddy. I'm here for the moments. I'm here for the memories. I'm here for the next one because, like I say, buddy, LaMichael P. Ryan from Alabama. Auburn told him he ain't fast enough. He ain't big enough. He taking 80 yards against Auburn at home. That's what? Are you really? So that I'm here for and buddy, mark my words. At the end of this season, Billy Napier has gonna show the world, even Gator Nation. Hey man, I appreciate y'all being patient with me. This is what patience does, and you don't want to do it, but buddy, listen. When they talk about boxers, right? They always tell boxers this: it's not how many fights you had, it's who you fought. When you talk about Florida this year, boy, we got some heavyweight bouts this year, boy. We going up against some of the best, if not the best in the country. And guess what? We ain't pulling no punches. We ain't making no excuses. We ain't running from nobody. We want it. Graham Mertz said it this best. He says we are hungry and hungry. I mean, I'm sorry. We are. I mean, he said, listen. He said we're gonna be a hungry bunch, right? And we're gonna be a ready bunch.
Yeah.
And me, I'm with you, buddy, man. I like this perspective. Listen, I'm gonna say the Buddy Meyer perspective says what memory. Florida is the only team, if they lose, not win. If they do lose, it's usually because of Florida. It's not because that other team was just better than them. You know, so Coach Will Harris, they was asking him about USC. You know what he said? It ain't here. He wouldn't even acknowledge where he came. It ain't here. People are like, why ain't you answering my? I'm telling you, there ain't nothing like Florida.
Hang on one second, Ben. Hang on. It's good stuff. I want to get. I'm backed up here, and I got a bunch of stuff I'm trying to get on. I got a picture here that you're going to love if I can ever get it pulled up. So far, I haven't been able to get it pulled up. If I can, we're going to take a break. Francis is on the other side saying bye. You and I have got we have a lot of things to catch up on here in terms of passion about football. The joy of football is the topic of tonight's conversation, and the photograph I'm trying to get up, unfortunately, speaks to it all. I'm going to keep doing it. It's a shot of your former coach in a Trinity Catholic coaching shirt, okay? And I'm going to try to pull it up here. I've been trying for the last 30 minutes to do it, and I'm not getting a whole lot of cooperation. stand by while I tell you about the spring Fran's up, and we'll come back and pick up the subject of the joy of football and why I've had a change in attitude, as I told you. And we'll get Fran's thought of that as well. First, let me tell you about our good friends at Meldon Law. Talk about loyalty. That's something you don't hear much about. These people have been so loyal to us. We're so grateful for what he's done for Gator football, for Jeffrey, and for our program. And he talked about a Gator through and through. He is one. He not only talks about it, he lives it. And the other attorneys trying to copy what he's doing. He's an official sponsor of many things. He's an official injury law firm in Florida. He sponsors all kinds of programs. He's involved in NIL. He does a tremendous job, and he hardly even talks about law, but we should tell you he's a lawyer. And Meldon Law now has offices in Williston, Ocala, Lake City, and Gainesville, and they have a saying over there: they don't back down. If you have an issue with your current litigation, you're not sure, and like in medicine, with a second opinion, I encourage you to call Meldon Law and run it past them at no charge. They'll give you advice. Meldon Law, they won't back down. Evening to you, Francis. This is your kind of show. It's set up for you. And we're talking tonight about the joy of being a football fan and the joy of getting a chance to root for and follow the Gators and trying to find the connection. For me, I've come to a realization that it's okay to be positive, friends, and you've always been that way.
Well, I don't see any reason why not to be. We're Gators. Everybody else wishes they could be. Now, I've said it for years. When I made speeches, I said there's two kinds of people in the world. There are Gators, and then there's everybody else that wishes for 1 minute they could be one. There's a certain amount of pain that has gone through and continues to go. You can't be a Gator and not feel pain. Buddy, we felt it back in the days when, it was wait till next year. We were wait till next year Gators. My dad was a wait till next year Gator. My dad went to his grave in 1986, just, disappointed that the Gators had their 84 championship stripped. And by the way, this is the 40th anniversary, and we need all the former players to get together and say, enough is enough. Recognize these guys. Just like the 1990 team, 34 years ago, that 1990 team came here and won the SEC and had it, and Georgia and Tennessee stood in the way of it again, just as they did in 84. And that team needs to be recognized as well. But there's pain and suffering that comes with being a Gator, and I think that's why we celebrate when we do well, when we win those championships. We've won 13 in track and field under Mike Holloway. Tim Walton's won 2 in softball. The gymnastics team has won 3. Look at all those. I think it's 11 or 12 straight years we've won the SEC in swimming. And, Roland Thornquist hasn't won a national championship in a while, but he's won 3 in tennis, and Andy Brandy won 4 before that. So there's so many championships that we can celebrate here, but there's so much pain that's involved with it too. And like I said, you can't be a Gator and not feel both ends of that spectrum. The pain spectrum, it hurts worse when we lose because we won so many, and it feels so good when we win because we've won so many.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it makes sense. But I mean, you don't, friends. At the end of the day, right? When I get to Florida in 2000, I don't understand. Like, I don't know. I really don't. Because it takes people to let you know what you're really doing. Like, people do you really know? Or you like, no. That's like, if you grow up rich, right? You think everybody got a nanny, right? You think everybody got a chef. Because that's your life. It takes you getting outside of this. Like they said, John Travolta used to he's a pilot. He would fly his family everywhere. And one time, he couldn't fly. So his daughter his wife had to take his daughter to the airport. And she was like, Mama, what are all these people doing here? She's like, this airport, sweetie. Daddy gonna fly all these people? No. We're not flying with that. It's because that's all she knew. When you at Florida, you don't get the fact that people be looking at you, staring at you, and you're like, what are they staring at? Because you one of them. What do you mean? Dude, like, you're one of them. I'm sitting there in 2003, my senior year, at the supermarket on the front cover of the Sporting News, staring at myself. I can't afford, I want one, but I mean, I'm trying to get something to eat. I'm sorry, I want the magazine. My stomach is like, we're going to get some food. And the guy looking at me says, hey, Ben, you want some of those? He didn't say, hey, Ben. No, he didn't say, is your name Ben? He said, hey, Ben. I go, yeah. You want some of those? Yeah, he bought me the whole rack. Bought them all. And just left. Have a good seat. To me, that's a small gesture, but when you think about the fact that at the University of Florida, there is no such thing as second fiddle. There is no such thing as, oh, we just accept this, accept that. Coach Spurrier never talked about winning. Because in his mind, he goes, look, the only way we can lose is that we beat ourselves. And every time we lost, which wasn't that much under him, we beat ourselves, right? But then Ron Zook came out there and said, boy, you got to cherish this thing. He used to tell us, he'll say, this is my dream job. He would tell us this, he said, two things are going to happen. You either going to be a part of the dream or I will cut you out like cancer. That's what he would tell us. I will cut you out. He said, I will cut you out this part of the body to save the body. And looking back on it, friends and buddy, it's this thing that, like I said, Kevin Carter, 100-sack guy, Super Bowl champ, Tallahassee, Florida, Lincoln High School, came back to Florida and said, with everything I've done, I could never replace Florida. I've done it. I've been to Kevin Carter's $150 steak foundation dinners, back there eating them people's steaks. Yeah, I was in the back eating them. Yep, because I ain't never had no $150 steak. And it was good too. And then at the end of the night when he said, hey, Ben, make sure you take your steak home, I'm like, no, I don't eat no steak. They're like, you got a little steak juice on you. For real. So, and he came back to Florida and said, it won't get better than this. He said it, and he ain't lying. Fred Taylor, shout out to Fred Taylor, who just graduated and made his grandma proud, walked across the stage of Florida.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Because listen, you think Fred Taylor need to walk across the stage with everything he's done? But listen, he ain't do this whole I'm gonna go to another school and transfer all my credits. I'm not doing that.
Emmett, 20 years after leaving University of Florida, Emmett walked the stage, and they said, "Why did you walk the stage?" He said, "Because I earned it, and I earned it at this place." You know, there is something to be said about being a Florida Gator. It really is true that it's different. You know, the SEC has that. It just means more. Well, I think the SEC stole that from Florida because it does mean more here. We have the number one public school in the country. You know, we're a member of the American Association of Universities. You look at our academics across the board. You name the field, it's at the top, at the very top.
Yeah. Good stuff, guys. Real good. I want to get back to one thing. I can't get the picture up. I wanted to get up. I've been trying. It's a photograph. And again, this is a night when we're talking about good things. Because as I said to Ben earlier, I posted that starting out with this. Made me feel real good about that. That news right there. That's due in part to you, friends, and also to Ben. That's the Buddy Martin show now under the SEC sidelines show. Congratulations to Brendan Martin, and we're happy about that. But it was a very good. It was a really good way to start. But last night I had an epiphany, friends. You would appreciate this. In my talk with Dan, with our buddy David Moulton, who's known as Sour on the Sweet and Sour Hour with Allie, because his so-called anti-Gator position is not really just is that we had this discussion late night about your feelings about wanting to enjoy how can you enjoy college football if you're a Gator fan and you're miserable because you're worried about the schedule. You can't enjoy college football that way. What I told Ben, France, when we were started covering it, listen, expectation was 5 or 6 wins, and a bowl game was a good year. And now all of a
The
sudden,
Gator Bowl. The Gator Bowl was
oh
a
yeah,
big bowl
I was
trip.
there at it. I was with them when they went. My point is that I know expectations have risen. I don't mean to take away from them. I love Tim Tebow, but he did not invent Florida football. It was there a long time before. Talk about the hard schedules. Ben played some. France, we've seen some teams that had a harder schedule than this because they weren't any good. They were having to play against superior talent, playing really good teams. So I know about the whole thing, and I get it, and I get the expectations there. But I wanted to say, in my semi epiphany, I'm choosing my happy space for this season. And I don't need Tim Tebow to just promise to make it work. I mean, look at college football like you look at the arts, okay? Music, theater. You never know what to expect on a given night on Broadway or when you go to a live concert and you see this wonderful, wonderful performances you see. And so looking outside the numbers and we got to win 7, we got to win 8. I don't know how many they're going to win. There's other things for fans to appreciate, and Ben, you know this. And besides that, looking outside the numbers, my friend and my former business partner Gordon Smith said one thing that's worth remembering. Early on, when we started covering it, and we started Gator Sports Talk Radio in Ocala. He was a big tailgater, which you and I never were, of course. But he said, buddy, it's not the game. It's going to the game. Well, he may not be right about that, but the expectation, anticipation of going to the game, France walking in the press box, like he did all those years as these fantastic writers were just getting to sit next to him and watching it. What a day. I said many times, I'd rather be here today than any place in the world in this press box with these people around me. And I'm thinking, how have we lost that? How have we lost this? So I thought, okay, you never know when you might get the greatest performance ever, friends. I've seen a few things in my lifetime. I thought, okay, I was at the Super Bowl 3 with Namath to beat the Colts. That's pretty special. You think anybody was expecting that? No. I was there, and I'm not saying this to be arrogant. I was there in 1986 when Jack Nicklaus won the Masters in 46. They say he never won a major. That was an unbelievable night. I was there when Secretary came out of the gate and won the Kentucky Derby and won the next 2 races. I saw that. I was there for a lot of things like that, and I'm grateful I was. You never know when, let's say that Big Bad Texas is undefeated when they go out in Austin in this season and play them. What if, Ben? What if? There have been many other episodes. What if you beat Texas when they're number one undefeated? I mean, what a way to hang a new look on a program. So I'm thinking to myself, you know what? You got to allow for the possibility that when I went to the 1991 Super Bowl with my friend Terry Bradshaw and sat in the stands, I had no idea Whitney Houston was going to come out there and sing the Star Spangled Banner like it's never been heard before and never be heard again. Unbelievable. The moment of that experience had nothing to do with the score of the game. It was unbelievable. I'm sure people will say that about Marcia. Probably Marcia Meadows would say the Prince's halftime show was the greatest of all time. If you were at Woodstock when Jimi Hendrix, I wasn't, or at Live Aid with Queen, all these great moments. So there are great things that can happen in France. We've seen them, and our friend Lauren's on here now. I think grab him in there. So just for a moment, let's reflect on football as part of the arts, okay? Part of the arts, okay? Look at it from the standpoint of loving the game, how it's played, and I know Lauren has not a great lighting, and he's on his cell phone from the SEC tournament, but I'm gonna give Lauren first crack. The love of football, watching it unfold. Your wife, you and your wife travel. The passion of watching the game is unmatched.
Yeah, I mean, I think hello from Auburn, Alabama, by the way, for the SEC softball tournament. This live correspondence for the Buddy Martin show, that's exclusive. Nobody else gets it the way we get it. But For me, buddy, I mean, I think, especially growing up in Ohio and being a fan of, just football as a whole, just like you said, going to Notre Dame and hearing Tchaikovsky's 18th, in the fourth quarter, my first time in the swamp, hearing We Are the Boys, and just those moments where, I was there for the heave to cleave, I mean, and just the passion where that, hearing, where Mick said, the swamp is an insane asylum again, and just, those kind of things, and just those moments being there live. And even, this year, I mean, being in South Carolina when Mertz sticks that post to Ricky Pearsall, that was one of those moments, even though the team wasn't doing well, you can think back to those moments being live and being a member of the media and then going into the press conference and seeing the team celebrate. It's just those things, and you can never get those things back. And that's what, like you said, buddy, and I've said it before, no matter what happens in this new landscape, football is still football. It's still pure. It's still, the passion is there. And like you said, you got to hold true to that. So yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, find your happy place, embrace what football is
Find your
and the
happy place.
pageantry
Amen.
that goes with those 2 or 3 hours, and there you go.
Well said. Well said. All right. Respond, Ben.
I agree. I think sometimes when it comes to football, like it takes somebody who ain't as crazy as we are to say, man, y'all need to calm down, right? And in our mind, we like, dude, I'm way worse than this. Like this is still toned down. And the thing is, I mean, Lauren is from Ohio. I meet this dude from Ohio named Keywan Rattler, right? I ain't never been to Ohio. Obviously, I'm like, come on, man. You got this, he real slender, but you get him out on that field, that boy could dance, boy. He could dance out there on that field. There was a play in the SEC championship game of 2000. They moved Keywan Rattler, all 180 pounds of him at safety. There was a play to where he backed up so far off the screen, he said, I ain't finna hit no Rudy Johnson. Y'all got me at safety? Okay. Now, you're not going to throw it over his head, but he said, put me where, he said, put me where, he used to say, put me where, the smoke is. Put me where the action is. We go to Arkansas. First half, Matt Jones thinking, man, this dude can't cover. Keywan said, watch this masterpiece second half. Watch what I do to him. They go pick number one. They go pick number two. Pick number three. That boy threw it in the stand. He threw it in the stand. That boy's ignorant, and I loved it. He's so good. Ron Zook took him out for a series, put him right back in. Listen to me. Keywan Ratliff knew, boy, I might be the smallest player on defense in 2003. I'm defensive player of the year. Those are the type of that I love Florida because I was there to watch it in person. I watched Gus Scott get a pick six in Jacksonville, his hometown, against DJ Shockley. A pick six? That boy grew up watching Florida, Georgia. What? So for me, I love Florida for the simple fact that most teams lie about these plays because we never saw them. You can't even lie about Florida. They pick something. Pick anything you want, and we've done it. We've done it, and we do it. I watched Will Greer against Ole Miss, wearing all orange, demolished, and they was number one team in the country. They was the number one team in the country coming into the swamp. We out there looking like the Sun Kids boys, and we killed them. I'm just saying, when it comes to me in Florida, the reason why people don't like me is because I don't need Google to validate these truths. They know it's true. My neighbor across the street is a Florida fan. I have not introduced myself to him yet, but I'm going to introduce myself to him. He want me to come to his house. I'm gonna go knock on his door, and I'm gonna tell him, do not listen to these schizophrenic people walking around barking at you. There's something wrong with them. They know what's wrong with them. Don't acknowledge it.
Oh my goodness.
No, I love Florida. I love Florida football for the simple fact that it's too good to me, man. Yes, we're gonna have some hard times, but guess what? When Florida is down, college football is down. Because we are a part of the college football fabric. When we don't meet expectations, people are like, what's going on in Gainesville? Most teams, they just in the room. You can start eating. Ain't nobody waiting on them. The people wait on us. People will say, "Hey man, don't eat yet. They ain't here yet." Who? Florida. They ain't here yet. Why we got to wait on them? What? What you mean? Why? They put this together. They built this. So I'm like Lauren, man. When it comes to Florida football, I just want Billy Napier to have his moment. I'm not talking about beating Tennessee. I'm not talking about a comeback win on the road against South Carolina. I want him to have a good season so he knows. Because to me, Billy ain't experienced Florida yet. He's experienced what happened when you don't win. When you win, he gonna be like, "Oh, that's what it is." You don't believe me? You don't believe me? Ask Coach Spurrier. Ask Urban Meyer. Ask Ron Zook. Ask him. That's gonna happen when you win in Florida. The worst day of your life in Florida is when you got to leave. When they say we got to go, where we going? We going to Hawaii. No, I don't want to go. And it got the beach. I'm telling you. So you can't. I want that for Billy Napier because that's what I think he's building. He gonna have to go out there and do it. Listen, Ron Zook got carried off the field at Florida State his last game, and he was already fired. You see,
Good
come on,
point.
man,
Good point.
get out here. Yeah.
That's good stuff. Really good. I can hear the passion in his voice. Before I go back to France real quick and get Lauren in here, I wanted to say that I want to tell you about our sponsors, and we've got some good ones. We appreciate all of them. TitanMRI.com is one you should know about. If you need an MRI, you're in the North Central Florida area, you need to check this out because Titan MRI is a customer service driven company. If you need to have a date on nighttime or you need to have an appointment on the weekend, they'll custom make that appointment for you to come there. And you can come in if you have no insurance, but you have cash and card. They'll take that. It's not really terribly expensive. And they make it the experience of having the MRI much better because you don't get to get claustrophobic thanks to their modern equipment. So if you need an MRI, I encourage you, call them in Gainesville and North Central Florida area, titanmri.com. All right, friends, that's pretty impressive little run there that Ben had. And singing our tune, you had many nights where you went to the ball yard and saw Carlos Alvarez or somebody do something great. That passionate moment is so special.
Well, I'm going to give you three. One of them is 1983, excuse me. Florida versus FSU in the swamp. Final score is 53-14. Wilbur Marshall knocks three FSU quarterbacks out of the game personally, and he hits Greg Allen so hard, the All-American running back from FSU, he takes himself out of the game at the end of the first quarter. Florida wins at 53-14, leaving the stadium, hearing two FSU people who I know in front of me saying, one of them saying the other, "You think we'll ever beat Florida again?" And the other one says, "As long as Bobby Bowden is the head coach, never." That was a special moment. Second one, 2006, buddy, we are in Scottsdale, Arizona. And I think I was the only Florida writer who said from the day that Florida won the SEC championship in Atlanta, I said Florida is going to win, and I will be surprised if the Gators don't win big. I said that from the beginning, stuck with it the whole way, had people telling me I was nuts.
Yes,
I'm
you
on a
did.
I'm on a radio show in Iowa, and I told them on the show, I said, "Here's the deal." I said, "If Florida wins by fewer than 2 touchdowns, I said I will come on your show tomorrow, and everybody can call in and tell me I'm a dummy." And I said, "If Florida loses, I said I'll come in and stay the entire 2 hours of the show, won't say a word, and everybody can call in and tell me I'm the stupidest human being in the world." I said, "But I said I'll be happy to show up on your show tomorrow after Florida wins by more than 2 touchdowns, too." And they said, "Oh, that ain't going to happen." Well, we know what happened with that. Florida beat the Buckeyes and beat them badly. and we're sitting in a of all things, a Denny's restaurant. This will come back to 2008 as well. 2008, 6, we're sitting in a Denny's restaurant. Mark McLeod, Bob Redmond, and I, and Cody Jones, and we're eating. And these Buckeye fans are sitting beside us, and they're very quiet. And every one of us puts on a Gator jacket or Gator gear. We are making darn sure everybody knows, because we had heard it all week long from these Buckeye fans. Ain't no way, Florida. And all I said was, "We'll see, we'll see." So we come in the restaurant, we sit down. These Buckeye fans are sitting there, and they're very, very, very quiet, and they were very uncomfortable around Gators. And when they got up to get out, I said, "Y'all played a good ball game." The guy says, "No, you didn't either." I said, Y'all played a game that you could have beaten anybody in the Big Ten, but you were playing the Florida Gators, and you got what was coming to you." That was kind of fun. The second thing happened was was before the 2008. Before I get to that, I'm at the Heisman Trophy ceremony in New York, and I got this gal that works for the Dallas newspaper who tells me Tim Tebow would be the fourth best quarterback in the Big 12. And I said, "Really?" And she said, "Yeah." She said, "What Oklahoma is going to do to him is do to Florida and to him is going to be really, really bad." And I looked at her, I said, "Trust me, dear, you don't know jack about football to say that, because y'all, there's no way you're going to win the ball game. Tim Tebow will show you who the best quarterback in the country is."
All right, now
Well,
I'm going to interrupt you to go finish that punchline. I know you got one more story to tell, but I'm going to let Lauren say goodnight because he's on a battery. He's out there in the darkness of Auburn. He could be kidnapped if we don't get him out of there. So go ahead, finish your punchline, and come back to you. All right?
yeah, go ahead with Lauren. That's all right.
Okay. I
It'll
just don't
still
want.
be it'll still be here when he gets back.
Okay, we'll finish it up. Just want to. I want to get Lauren. It looks like he might be predators around him someplace. So, all
Oh
right.
no, it's just a nightcap, man. They had some weather here today, so
No.
kind of put the Gators behind the eight ball. They were supposed to play at 3 o'clock today, and tomorrow it's going to be 9 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. So they buckle up against Georgia first thing in the morning tomorrow, in a first round matchup, basically quarterfinals of the SEC softball tournament. Looking at hopefully, definitely hosting a regional. Looking at a super regional berth. Franz, two solid freshman pitchers. Keegan Rothrock will be working on the most rest she's had all season. And the Gators are hitting again, so it should be a good game.
Hey, you should have Dayglow standing beside you, just smiling, and we wouldn't have a lighting problem with you.
Yeah, she went to the car.
Should
Yeah.
been
Well,
there to
I
help you
guarantee.
out, buddy.
Just tell her when I talk about great performances, I threw Prince at halftime in there, and my comments
I will
section.
definitely be
All
sure to
right.
mention that.
Thanks for coming on, Lauren. Appreciate it. Have a
All
safe
right.
trip back. Hold on now,
See you guys.
guys. Don't go away. All right, Francis, back to you. Finish up that story, and then I want Ben to tie a ribbon on it.
Florida goes on, beats Oklahoma 24-14. Should have been worse, but Urban went ground and pound in that game. He had Percy Harvin, ran the ball, threw it sparingly. Um, Gosh, I remember, David Nelson. David Nelson makes the catch for the what proved to be the game-winning touchdown, but he also made an NFL catch there on a play that even had Brent Musburger talking with us about it the next morning when we're sitting between him and Vern Lundquist at the press conference. But Florida wins that game. We're in Denny's restaurant, you, me, and Tim Casey. And this is in Denny's there. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. We finished riding. The Gators have won a second national championship. And Buddy says, savor the moment, guys. Savor it. They don't come like this often. Don't ever, let it sink in. It may be a long time before it happens again. 16 years. Long time. But I remember it like it was yesterday. And see, that's the cool thing about being a Gator is we've had so much pain. We remember those good times. We remember them
Yeah, that's
like they were
right.
yesterday.
That's right. Yeah. Ben, you can tie a ribbon on it. And you shared earlier, again, I'm going back to the idea of trying to find a way and a space to find a happy place for this season, not getting eaten alive by expectations, but not setting your standards lower. But whatever it is about Florida football that floats your boat and gets you excited, that, there's got to be more to just the wins and losses. I get it. If you don't win the SEC East, it's a failure. That's modern thinking. France and I go back a long time ago, and even you do some. Look, I get it. They want to win. Only one can win. Only two teams can go. So the idea that you think you should go, it just got a whole lot tougher. But Ben, expectations. How do you manage them? How do you stay in your happy place, and how do you choose to be optimistic?
I think all that comes through preparation. I think when you understand why the coaches are the way they are, why the strength coach is the way he is, why the nutrition is the way he is, when you buy in, it makes everything come to the forefront. It don't mean to make everything easier, but you understand. And look, 2005, my second year in the NFL, we draft Pac-Man Jones, right? Everybody remember, that Rose Bowl, USC, Texas. It's crazy, right? It's crazy. Come down to the wire. Vince Young, 200 yards rushing, national champ MVP, greatness. We draft Vince Young in 2006, right? We draft Vince Young. It was Mario Williams, Reggie Bush, Vince Young. Vince Young comes to the team. Vince Young saying, Texas is Texas, 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 Texas. Bo Scaife, tight end for Texas, got drafted 2005. So I get drafted 2004. Bo Scaife get drafted 2005. Vince Young get drafted 2006. I can say this right now. There is nobody on earth that loves Texas or Vince Young more than Bo Scaife. Bo Scaife, if Bo Scaife had a son, he named him Vince. But they kept talking all this Texas stuff. They kept saying, this is what they told me. They said, Ben, you better be lucky Texas ain't in the SEC. I said, what they gonna do? Man, you know what we would do? You know what I told Vince Young? Boy, y'all used to scratch and claw to beat Arkansas. He told my Arkansas good. Yeah, Arkansas good when they play y'all. But then, here come the season, right? Here come the season. Hey, Ben, I don't think Texas, Florida ain't finna do nothing this year. This is what I said. I said, Florida got this guy named Chris Leak, right? I had him as a senior. He was a freshman. I said, he's went through the ups and downs of the SEC. I said, if Vince Young does what I think he could do, he won't win the Heisman because he ain't going to have the rushing numbers. He don't run the ball. I said, they got a shot to win the Natty. They had this guy by the name of Urban Meyer. This Urban Meyer guy, right? From Utah. I'm like, But what people don't know is I came to Florida. I was in the weight room. I just said Urban Meyer was in there, and I said something to him. He gave me this look over the shoulder smirk, like this little, he gave me this, hey, look. He said, if I can win in Utah, yeah, I can win it all here. See, you can't win it all out there. You can go undefeated. No one cares. He said most people don't even know where Utah is on the map. They know about one thing in Utah. He said they know about three things in Utah. The Jazz, John Stockton, and Karl Malone. That's it. That's it. But I told Vince Young, I said, I'm from a little place called Put Your Money Where Your Mouth Is. If you think Texas is going to win it all, put your money up. He said, Troop, I don't want to take your money. You know what I told him? I said, no, you don't want to lose your money. When Florida won it all, right? You know what Vince Young said? I bet they can't do it twice. I go, no, 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 no,
Double
no,
or
no, no.
nothing.
Because what happens is, right, what I told Vince Young is, I said, Vince Young, I go, look, I said, I was born in 1982. You were born in 1983. I got drafted in 2004. You got drafted in 2006, and you had another year of eligibility. Because y'all care about them high school championships in Texas, they're huge. I said, Chris Leak is from Charlotte, North Carolina. His first start in the SEC was on the road against LSU in 2003, and he won. I go, this team from Oklahoma, Ohio State. I said, listen to me. I said, look, man. I said, Chris Leak been chasing legacy his whole life. You don't have stats like that in high school. All them touchdowns, he could have gave 50 touchdowns away. But this is what I told Vince, though. I say, Vince, this is what it is. I say, if Chris Leak was 6'4" and could run a 4.6, he would have been the number one pick. But the problem was he was 5'11", and he ran a 4 ever. And he could throw that thing, though. And when he won it, listen, friends, when he won it, right? Look. They win it all. I come to work in the off season. I ain't saying nothing to nobody. True, what's up? I ain't saying that. Oh, so you can't hear us? No, I ain't got nothing to say. But here, 2007 come. We draft Michael Griffin from Texas. You know what he started doing? He started yapping. I said, listen. You know what Michael Griffin said? You went to Florida. Vince Young said, hey, man, you don't want that smoke. True. I said, no. Because y'all Texas boys, you know, them Texas boys, I said, y'all love y'all football, y'all biggest brand. But the moral of the story is, I go, look, Texas, the Texases and the Oklahomas and the USC, whomever, right? It is such a surprise to them when they meet expectations. Because they got to say something like, we're back and all this kind of stuff. All Florida got to do is just get that old thing back. Because I'm telling you, 2 national championships in 3 years, back-to-back championships in basketball, I get it. But the thing about Florida is, people say, what's the greatest play in Florida national championship history? Is it Major Wright to hit on the sideline? Is it Ike Taylor catching that thing and just going, it's too many. Because when I went to the combine, Tommy Harris from Oklahoma, they lost the national championship at LSU, right? He comes up to me, he talking to Michael Clayton from LSU. He said, Mike, it's got to be crazy that you put all these hours in and you never ever get to play in the national championship, right? Mike started laughing. I said, Mike, yeah, what would you know about beating us? He go, what? I said, what would you know about beating us? I said, can we beat y'all at home? And I said, our quarterback, he was supposed to be at the prom with a cummerbund on and a bow tie. And he beat y'all. So when it comes to me, I say, hey, I never won a national championship. I won Coach Spurrier's last SEC championship. I'm blessed to have done that. But when it comes to the University of Florida, you said it right, friends. People don't like us because they ain't us. If you ain't a Gator, it don't matter, man. I ain't got to sit here and prove my resume to nobody. I didn't come to Florida to be known for this and known for that. But I'm going to say this to these Georgia fans. People got mad at me in the 2024 draft because they said, another guy wanted to bet me, that Brock Bowers would get drafted higher than Kyle Pitts. I said, no, he can't do that. They say, why? I say, because Brock Bowers is the greatest tight end in SEC history because he won 2 national championships. I say, but the best, I say, Kyle Pitts, they don't make people like that. I say, we all went to the tight end pool and people were jumping in. You know, Brock Bowers got to do a nice little backward, he did a no-hand, gainer. And then Kyle Pitts walked in and everybody said, move back, give him some room. Why? Because he finna cannonball in this thing. Because to me, I said, Brock Bowers can do things that most tight ends can't. Kyle Pitts can do what nobody can do. Nobody can do that. So, and what did he go number 4? No. Did he go number 3? No. Now, he still won the first round. But people got me. And once again, the guy that wanted to bet me, he said the same thing Vince Young said. He said, I don't want to take your money, Ben. I go, no, you don't want to lose yours. You don't want to lose it. Because had he lost, this was the bet. I told him, I would bet 1,000 against your 500. But if you lose, you got to get $500 in ones, and you got to count them out one by one. 1, 2, 3, 4. And he didn't want to do that. So I wasn't gonna take his money. I was gonna make him count it out, and I was gonna give it back to him. But I'm just saying, at the University of Florida, no matter what, you get a chance to be a part of the greatest. You get a chance to do something that is seldomly seen. So for me, hey, Gator Napier, I hope you get a chance to experience what Gator Nation really is. Because you get it right. You win in Florida. It's like John Gruden told me. He said, being true, if we win the Super Bowl, he said I could get a road named after me, and I ain't do nothing but call a play. I could get a road name. You want to be a legend for life? Win in Florida. You want to be a legend for life? Just win in Florida. You got a shot to be a legend.
Gentlemen, this has been splendid. It's late into the night, and we're way past getting off the air. I give each other 20 seconds to say good night. France?
Well, all I'll say is, once again, there's two types of people in this world. There's Gators and everybody else who just wishes for 1 second, 1 minute of their life they could be, but they ain't.
All right, Ben?
Listen, Florida is a hell of a place. We got a hell of a coach. We got a hell of a team. In 2024, let's give them hell. That's it.
That's good enough, brother. Again, thanks to the guys tonight who brought this about to us. Very happy. Well done, guys, to be a part of that special. All right. Good night, Ben. Good night, friends.
Good night.
In the immortal words of the church lady, isn't that special?
Isn't that special? It certainly is. Thanks. All right, folks. Say good night to you. I'm going to tell you about our friends from Renstar, who I do every night before I go off the air, because I don't like to read copy. I like to talk about what they are. They're such a responsible group of people in Ocala who look out for the community and also the good causes. They're Gators. They've been sponsoring this program for a long time. They're also looking out for our health, looking better ways for better treatments, for us to be able to get better treatment. And how they do that, they want you to be a part of some of their clinical trials. They've been doing them for a long time. They've done hundreds of them. And the information they get from those trials is sent off to companies who help us design better medications for us here in this community. You need to know more about it. Go to renstar.net, check them out. You can get time and travel compensation for that if you qualify, and you'll be a part of this study, which will be helpful not only to you, but for them and for us in our community. Renstar Medical Research, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Congratulations to all the people who helped us have those 500,000 views. And we're off for the weekend. Don't forget to listen to Rob on the SEC and Brendan too, SEC Sidelines. If I catch you on Monday, have a good one, folks. Thanks and good night.